as the popular saying goes, Atlanta must be stopped. Okay, it must be stopped. We are back reporting on the swamp that keeps on swamping. None other than the bastion, the lone bastion of colored communism known as Atlanta, Georgia. But Atlanta is really going through some things, or should I say the things that Atlanta is going through is not new, but it's just starting to seep out, right? The swamp is starting to stink. I mean, there is not one aspect of the Fulton County municipality government structure that is not stinking high, like stinking to high heavens with corruption. I'm going to be sharing with you guys a story about the corruption within the Fulton County Housing Authority. So basically, this is the agency that runs and oversees the projects. Okay, y'all known as the PJs. Y'all know if you from the hood, you like, I know what the Housing Authority is. I know what they do. They run the projects, right? The projects, for those, the uninitiated, they are a housing development, right? A housing development for low to moderate income families. And here, the Fulton County Housing Development, they are responsible for unincorporated Fulton County. So like the city of Atlanta, they have their own housing authority, and then unincorporated Fulton County, they have their own housing authority. And their job is to manage the public housing. So let's go ahead and take a look at what has recently been uncovered.
More resignations and allegations after our exclusive investigation into the Fulton County Housing Authority. New at 6, Channel 2 investigative reporter Sophia Choi first broke the money, mismanagement, and sexual harassment claims last week. She's live at the Housing Authority in Southwest Atlanta with this exclusive update. Sophia.
Linda, all but 2 board members no longer work here. They resigned, but 2 are holding out, saying they did nothing wrong despite those allegations of money mismanagement and sexual harassment.
The unit was over here. It was a 9-apartment building.
We met Jennifer Gates in North Fulton County, where she used to rent through the Fulton County Housing Authority. She says the Housing Authority unfairly accused her of not paying rent and evicted her in 2016.
I know I paid, and I've been telling them for long, somebody had something somewhere went wrong.
Fulton's Housing Authority gets about $7.8 million of your federal tax dollars through HUD. It gives out nearly 2,000 vouchers a year to offset rent for families in need. But the program is now in jeopardy after county commissioners received numerous complaints from residents, workers, and former board members.
It's a combination of things, the sexual harassment, the misuse of funds, staff not being qualified.
Channel Action News was first to show you this letter HUD sent to Fulton County on June 24th, saying in part, the recommendation for the corrective plan is to procure a third party to manage their program, and the current staff lack the experience in their current roles to correct the deficiencies. The letter does not mention any crimes.
HUD suggests strongly that we reset, that we clean the slate and bring on a whole new board.
So Pitts asked for and got the resignations of all but 2 remaining board members. These are some of the resignation letters.
I will never shy away from fighting for the good people of Fulton County.
Board Chairman Antavius Weams refuses to leave, saying he's the one who alerted the feds.
I was not getting the answers, Sophia, that I should have been getting. So I picked up the phone. I called HUD.
Weems, a board member since 2018, says the issue started in 2017. Former manager Sharika Bellamy says it got worse under his leadership with a hostile work environment. She says Weems also forced her to use federal money to pay people with no contract with the Housing Authority.
I was walked out the building with the same police officer that I refused to pay the invoices because he did not have a contract.
Bellamy says she was fired for raising red flags. This is video of her from May when she went before commissioners.
I am your whistleblower.
She says she was fired the next day for being insubordinate in your behavior toward the Board of Commissioners. Ms. Bellamy's attorney filed an EEOC complaint on behalf of her and several other former Housing Authority employees.
This is exactly what whistleblower protection is for, is so that someone like her can come forward and make a complaint and not lose her job.
Weems says it's the very people complaining now that caused the problems.
I'm so excited. I can't tell you how happy I am that this is happening, because now the attention is being set on fixing the system.
And we should point out, Mr. Weems says he's never faced any complaints of any sexual harassment. Now, the board here actually needs 3 members to form a quorum, so with only 2 members remaining, they can't even legally meet. So here's what's next. The Fulton County Commission Chair, Rob Pitts, plans to hold a meeting about all this, a special meeting on July 29th at 10 a.m. We'll stay on this. For now, we're live in Southwest Atlanta. Sophia Choi, Channel 2 Action News.
All right, Sophia, thanks.
Here we are. You've seen that. Basically, you guys, we just watched that, or should I say, we just learned that HUD, which is the Housing and Urban Development Department, which is a federal agency, gives out over $7 million a year to run this program, right? And so, like all inner city corruption, this is about money being mismanaged and people using the government system for their own selfish gain. This is also about, people having a lack of experience, right? So we listen to them talk about this lack of experience and how people who are not really qualified for the job are in this role. And then one representative, the whistleblower, is asserting that she was fired all because she was not paying particular individuals who technically, because they didn't have the government contract, she's like, I'm not paying them. And then somehow she just loses her job and is fired for insubordination. And so there's so many things at work here that I kind of want to point out and talk about. But before I get into the meat of what I want to address, I thought it was interesting. But notice how there seems to be this common thread of people that lack experience that are placed in these prominent positions of power and authority. And I got to thinking that, I'll use the term DEI, right? But we don't really know the ethnicity or we don't know the gender of these individuals. But here is my theory with DEI and how it may have something to do with what's going on here. I notice that whether it's from Secret Service to the Vice President, Office of the Vice President, to all these district attorneys, particularly here in Atlanta with Fonnie Willis, a lot of these individuals are tapped on the shoulder and are specifically placed and chosen in prominent positions of power because they can be controlled. So it's like a win-win. So for example, the person who was tapped on the shoulder and elevated and placed in the position of power, they actually want to be there. They want the notoriety. They want the fame. They want, the come up to boost their own personal career. But at the same token, the powers that be are putting them in these positions because they know that these are the ones that they can pull them in marionette strings and make them do what they need them to do. And then when they're no longer useful, they will discard you, right? So you are basically a puppet. You can be controlled. Yeah, they give you a little bit of power to wield, but as long as you stay on code, stay on task, and do what they want you to do, your job is safe. You are fine. You will rise up to the ranks. And what I've noticed, why is this effort for DEI initiatives targeted at females? It's like a lot of women of color, right? Who may or may not, more likely not have the expertise, the experience, the wherewithal, the know-how to do what they're doing, but they get put in these roles and positions anyway. I have a theory and believe it's because they can be easily controlled and they have a thirst for power and a thirst to get ahead that is equal, if not more, than the people who are putting them in the positions of power. right? So I just wanted to kind of point that out. But here in this particular situation, we have this gentleman, this Antavius Weams person, right, who is appearing to be, I'm on the up and up, and I'm the one that called the feds, right? He's appearing to be the savior here, the do-gooder of the day. But truth be told, I don't really believe that at all. Like, I really do believe that he is full of boo-boo too, right? What I believe is that he doesn't want the system fixed. They actually like this system just the way that it is. It just so happens that most of the team have resigned and quit and left the sinking ship. So now you have the perpetual master-in-chief, Rob Pitts, plans to hold this special meeting, right, about the fact that now that Fulton County's Housing Authority, it doesn't even have a board. So now we got to meet to figure out, well, what the heck are we going to do? The question that needs to be asked, April, why are you covering this stuff, right? Like, why is any of this important? The reason why I'm covering it, well, because one, I live in this metro area. And so, just staying abreast on what's going on is important to me. But more important than that, it's because crap like this, it ties into the rampant local government corruption that nobody wants you to be paying attention to. They want you to keep your head in the sand. They want you to be like, well, what's going on out there? No, look at that. Look over here. And you're like, well, you trying to look over here and they want you focus on this over here. And guess what? You don't even need to live in Atlanta for this story to be relevant to you. Do you know why? It's because this is the exact same apparatus, and structure that takes place in every urban municipality all over this country. Y'all are going to be very mad at me for saying this and what's new, right? There's not really a show that goes by that I don't say something that makes somebody upset, but I need you to let me know when I say what I'm about to say, where is the lie? Like, look for the lie, and if you can find it, type it in the chat. But if not, here it goes. This is your Black community in every major city all over this country. Yes, this is the legacy of the Lyndon Baines Johnson. This is his vision being carried out in real time. Literally, the LBJ of the 60s. Yes, he's dead. I know you're like, but he ain't even alive. How was that so? LBJ knew exactly what he was doing when he said that he was going to make sure he was going to have them in those N-words, the Black folks, voting Democrat for the next 200 years. In this show, I'm about to break it all down and tie it into this whole latest edition of Fulton County corruption. So y'all need to sit tight for this. It's going to be very, very exciting. But what you are witnessing, you guys are witnessing the new era of colored communism when it's under bad management. Right? When you just got some bad actors that's just, they fumble in the bag and they ain't really doing what they supposed to do to keep all of this under wraps. This is what it looks like when it's sloppy and just out of control. Right? This is the new school of blackity blacks, right? That they are the liabilities to the plantation. And I know you're like, April, why are you calling this a plantation? Like, what is all this slavery speak that you speak of here? Why? There are no slaves here. There are no whips. There are no chains or overseers. Why, April? Why on earth are you talking about this like that? I'm going to help you. Here's the formula, right? There's a whole formula that kind of makes this apparatus work the way that it does. You have the Democrat Party. What they will do is they will identify notable, yet controllable black bread pro-blackity blacks. They'll find them. They keep their eye out for them. And once these individuals are identified, this group of people, the ones that have been identified, they are the ones that the Dems can control. They pay them well, put some bread in their pocket, pay them good money. And their job is to keep the rest of the blacks in line, right? These are the people that keep the community subjugated, right? By wielding all of the black power, then they control all of the money, all of the funding, and not just that, they're controlling the narrative and the propaganda. So the whole goal is so that they can ensure chaos, confusion, contempt. Those are always on the forefront. And the job of these people, you know, the gatekeepers, if you will, we can call them that, is to keep the community subjugated and controlled right in their own communities. Right? So there are no physical chains. However, the vestiges and the smoke or the fumes of the slave plantation are always ever present. They're the ones who are in charge of all of the programs, but somehow none of the programs ever seem to truly help anyone. Right? So like Fonnie Willis is a prime example of the colored communism and subjugation at work. Right? All you got to do is look at all of the corruption in the Fulton County DA's office. Look at the corruption down at the Fulton County Jail. All of this is a direct result of this small group of politically powerful people that have been running Atlanta for over 40 years. And I have come to know this invisible, right, yet visible power structure, and we're going to call it the Cascade Cabal. Remember that. This may be the first time you've heard it. I don't know, but that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it the Cascade Cabal. That's what we're going to call it. Now, if you live here, you don't have to be from here, but if you live here, you like Cascade, you mean like Cascade Road, like in the Southwest Atlanta? Yes, that's why I named it that. Named it that for a reason. It's the Cascade Cabal. And what we first need to do, let's go ahead and define what is a cabal, right? Y'all know how I am with the language. I like alliteration. And so we got the 2 C's, the Cascade Cabal. A cabal is a secret political clique or a faction, right? So I know it sounds all wicked, but it really is just a secret political clique or a faction. That's the definition, the formal definition of a cabal. And so I call this invisible yet visible faction of powerful political people, I call it the Cascade Cabal, and it represents a coordinated and approved group of elite Black Atlanta politicians. And they all originate from the same source. And so if you live in Atlanta, or if you are from Atlanta, you know all about the Cascade area of Atlanta. That's your old Atlanta money, right? That's that Southwest Atlanta, South Side, South Fulton County. You know what I'm talking about if you're from here, live, work, play here, or just know a little bit about the structure and the demographics of Atlanta. You got North Fulton County, and then you got the South Side. You got South Fulton. And so the Cascade Cabal, it's home to some of the most powerful Atlanta socialites and politicians. So let me tell you something. The tentacles, right, of the Cascade Cabal, they are all over so much of what we've been seeing coming out of Atlanta as of late, right? Their hands are all in it. Like, don't believe me. Let me connect the dots for you. We just recently witnessed one of the approved members of the Cascade Cabal. We watched her expose herself when she was arrested in Buckhead not too long ago for her ratcheting behavior at a nightclub, right? Yes, we are talking about the former judge, Christina Peterson. Why was a probate judge name dropping like she was in her drunken stupor? You don't find it odd that Marvin Arrington, the legacy of one of the mainstays in the Cascade Cabal, was her attorney? Y'all don't think that was weird? Is it just me? Like, I don't know, that's such a coincidence. I didn't know that she knows Marvin.
We believe that Judge Christina Peterson will be completely exonerated of these charges. We are anxious to see the video from Red Martini nightclub and other nearby businesses, as well as footage from the police body cameras.
You don't find it odd that she said her attorney, Marvin, said, we're going to be asking DA Fonnie Willis to drop the charges, right? Like, why was this judge, who was clearly in the wrong? We've seen her making her rounds on all of the urban radio talk shows, because, they got to do that. But why was she so super confident and under this assumption that the Fulton County Police, or should I say Atlanta PD, knew who she was? Y'all watch the footage.
Your name. If you give me your name, then you'll be booked here. You'll be with us. Just give me your name.
No.
What's your name?
No. Call. Do what I don't know.
I don't know the people.
Call. You do know
Polly.
Yes, you do.
Who is that? Where's she working?
Him.
Where he working?
Atlanta Police Department.
Well, I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do. Do you know Beckett?
No.
She there in Bennett. Yes, you do.
I don't know people.
Yes, you do.
If you give me your name, then you stay here. I don't know that number.
You don't know Levi.
I know who he is, but I don't have his number.
Call them all.
And tell him I can't. How am I going to tell?
Call them and I will say hello, and they will know who I am.
I can't do that.
When she was dropping those names like that, she was appealing to the overseers of the plantation. You don't think that such a system of power and control is present in every major city in this country? Oh, it is. In every major city in this country, there is a melanated Marxist network run by what I call the Melanated Mafia. And what they do is they recruit individuals that they deem are going to be on board to push their agenda, right? So Fonnie Willis is not even from here, but she definitely fits the mark of a Marxist communist. Look at who her daddy was. An attorney and a former Black Panther, down for the cause, down for the movement. Trust and believe. Democrats have their system of subjugation in place. They always have. And they most definitely, they have a modern day plantation type system in place. It is overseers. It has a master. And yes, it has slaves. And there's this existing power structure in place that they do not want to change. They want to keep it just the way it is. Don't believe me? Ask yourself this. Ask yourself, why is it that every time we have a close mayoral race, particularly if there is a challenger from the other side of Atlanta, particularly someone of less melanin, there's no chance for that other side to win, or they will make it impossible for the challenger to win. So if you're from here or are familiar with our demographics, and you look at the distribution of wealth in Fulton County alone, it's not like the north side is broke. There's plenty of money on the north side of Atlanta, right? It's not like they're broke and don't have money. That is not it at all. The issue is that the Black community are the electoral serfs for the melanated Marxist-minded communists. So through this process of subjugation and control, they have a lock on the hearts, the will, and the minds of the Black residents of this city. No matter what, those people will always side. They will always side and provide electoral support, because those on the south and the southwest sides, they have not realized and figured out yet that the reason why their communities are being decimated, it's because it is gatekept and controlled to be that way by the power structure that they continually elect to keep it in place. Even with all the money that comes out of North Atlanta, not even they can combat that level of power and control. But the point I am making is that H.J. Russell, the Arrington, Caesar Mitchell, those are the powerful families that are from Southwest Atlanta that run this city. So all of that talk about white supremacy, it's a smokescreen. Ain't no white supremacy. All these are Black people. That's where you're going to find the control mechanism of Fulton County. Now, if you're from North Fulton or anything above like Northside High School, You don't have a chance of winning a mayoral race in Atlanta. It's just not going to happen, right? All of the mayors, no matter what, they're going to be from the southwest or the south side of Fulton County. That's how it always is. That's how it's going to always be. And they're always going to be Democrat. I told y'all a few live streams ago, Atlanta hasn't had a Republican mayor since 1879. He served one term. Subjugation, the control. Okay, y'all putting it together? Now, as it relates specifically to this story, the chairman of the housing authority, this Antavius Weams guy, right? Keep your eye on that one. Because what you see is not what you think you see, right? The cabal, the way it works, well, so many, they've been in power for so long, but you got your Rob Pitts, Andrew Young, John Lewis, Shirley Franklin. All of these are revered individuals. They're all part of the Cascade Cabal. And even though Keisha, they kind of discarded her at the one term, you can still throw her in there. Now, she got put out, and they switched her to a more silent role, and now she's working within the Biden campaign. I found that very, very interesting. Don't forget that detail right there. But did y'all notice during the hearings of the Fonnie Willis situation with Nathan Wade, who did you see in that courtroom consistently supporting a girl? You saw Shirley Franklin.
I've said it before, being the district attorney in Fulton County is the greatest honor of my entire life. I love this community. It's my home. It's where I raise my children. It's where I want to keep safe. I'm honored to serve. I'm honored for just the outpouring of support that I continue to get. And I am so excited to be here again today.
And you're like, what? Why is Shirley Franklin here? That's so odd. It's the Cascade Cabal. Of course she was going to be there. I mean, okay, maybe I'm crazy. It's just me. Don't pay me no mind. I'm just a YouTuber on the YouTube. But here's the deal. All of these people within the Fulton County Housing Authority, they're resigning because they probably don't want to get caught, and they know that the jig is up. And this Antavius Weams guy, he's the lone man standing because he probably has every intention on keeping the party going, right? He gets to keep his position. They'll get to bring in a whole new crew of new people, and then the same cycle of corruption is going to continue. I don't have any confidence or faith there's going to be any intention to actually clean house. No, I just don't believe it. The question is, how is Rob Pitt still involved in Atlanta politics? Like, after all of these years with him in just some form of leadership, why is he still around? I can't answer that. But Atlanta, here's what I do know. It's the bastion of colored communism. All programs that seem to be for public benefit are all run just like the Fulton County Housing Authority, because all of these large budgets, they line people's pockets. All of these programs are abject failures. Programs on top of programs on top of programs. Just big government programs that do absolutely nothing to help the communities they claim to serve. Look at public education. It's a failure. It's got a huge budget. And what do they keep doing? They keep throwing money at it. But why is that? They do that because that's how the cabal makes their living. Large budgets line pockets, but they do not help the people. The children still can't read. The children still can't learn. And all you have to do is say, oh, why are you just banging on Atlanta so bad? Pick a city. Baltimore, one of the largest budgets per student is spent. Them kids can't read or grade level. They cannot do math. Just pick a city. This is why I am so against big government and lots of government programs, because daddy government is not efficient And you cannot look to the government to solve all of your problems. And the moment that government gets too big, you have stuff like this hiding in plain sight with bad actors who have nefarious intent, who only want to enrich themselves, and they're not interested in helping the people. So here's another example. Another example of what government corruption does that can just give you a glimpse into what the Cascade Cabal will do to you. Do y'all remember what happened to Amanda Timpson, the young lady, the whistleblower with the whole Fonnie Willis situation? Do you remember that story? I covered it here on this channel. Amanda is the former Fulton County DA employee. What did she do? She blew the whistle. She blew the whistle, and she's the whistleblower who didn't get the memo that she was supposed to look the other way. And what did they do to her? They fired her. Just like they did this lady in the housing authority situation. And now they have Amanda tied up in court in hopes to financially ruin her so that she eventually just bows out and stops fighting back. They want people like Amanda to be quiet because they know that she knows firsthand just how corrupt things are. They thought, oh, she's Black, she's a woman, you know, give her a little position, give her a nice little title, nice little office, she'll cooperate. Who's gonna mess that up? We're paying her well. When you buck the system and you don't bow the knee, and you like, wait a minute, this is wrong. Y'all can't spend this money like this. They just like, who let her in? Oh no, she got to go. Then take a look at the orangutan judge, Christina Peterson. Yes, y'all didn't even notice it in plain sight. She exposed the corruption out of her own mouth. But you would have missed it if you weren't paying attention. We weren't supposed to hear all of that. But in her drunken stupor, she let the cat out the bag and started drunk dropping names. And she was dropping a lot of names. You know, she thought she was better than the average citizen. So don't touch me. Don't touch me. You need to Google me. Look me up. You know who I am. She was calling for the Cascade Cabal to come and handle it. Come handle this situation. And the situation is not just isolated to Atlanta. Look at Cori Bush, the congressional hood rat of St. Louis. It's the same type of cabal infrastructure, just a different city. Look at LaToya Cantrell in New Orleans. Same type of cabal structure, different city. Look at Tiffany Henyard in Dalton, Illinois. Now, she's a newcomer on the scene, but it's the same type of cabal infrastructure, different city. Let me drop a few throwbacks for you. Marion Barry, name ring a bell, the crackhead of the Capitol. Same infrastructure, different city. Look at Andrew Gillum, the sweetheart of the Democrat Party, the switch-hitting sodomite down there in Florida, right? Same infrastructure, different city. I can go on and on. Same cabal infrastructure, different city. There's definitely a systemic operation going on, and there are some key players that are integral in keeping these communities decimated, subjugated, and under oppressive control.